What's up guys, this is Sean Tan and today let's discuss about the 5 main factors why Malaysia's real estate remains a favourite internationally. Let's roll! So after visiting a lot of properties among the KL PJ region, the Selangor region, and you will see that it's getting more and more international in the city, where you have a lot of expats coming in, and Merdeka Day is coming. So happy Merdeka Malaysians. We are very proud to celebrate this year, the 61 year, this very year. In order to appreciate our country better from a real estate point of view, I've decided to compile like 5 main reasons why international investors often choose Malaysia as their portfolio to invest. Reason number 1, our sophisticated banking system as well as very established land ownership structure. It's very attractive to foreign investors. So there's almost a guarantee like who is the landowner, and every purchase it's very accurate. So unlike other places like Myanmar, it's very difficult to identify land, because in Malaysia we adopt this system called the torrent registration system. So it's a land act or a land system where in the land office they will have a copy of the title, and the landowner itself has a copy of the title. So any time where we need to verify who's the landowner or who's the property owner, we can match them so you can purchase accurately. So from a banking and financing point of view, for Malaysians who are buying local properties, we can get up to 110% in terms of financing, right? It means that if you don't have money today, you go buy a house, you get the house as well as 10% in cash. Of course, you still need to pay back lah, but that's not the point. Meaning, the bank and the country is actually, the government is really helping and encouraging property ownership in this country. Unlike other countries, you get 70 to 50% only, right? It means that there's a lot of capital outlay initially, and that makes home ownership even tougher. That's why foreigners, when they come in to Malaysia, they also can go up to 70%. And local banks are very welcoming to all these kind of foreign investors. RBGT, which is our real property gain tax system, also allows that foreign investors who are investing in Malaysia, after 5 years they are not taxed, meaning there's no tax on the difference. Before 5 years there's a 20%, and after 5 years it's actually 0. So it's very reasonable. Unlike their very own country, the tax amount is not on the difference or the earnings that you've made, but it's on the total amount, which is crazy. Point number 2, land ownership here, it's wonderful for foreign investors, because in China you only get 50 years and 70 years, right? And in Thailand usually you get lease of 30 plus 30 for foreign. But in Malaysia we are even selling freehold land to foreigners. It means that freehold land, it's not to be taken for granted. Like Malaysians, we are so spoiled in terms of, if not freehold, it's not a property. So we have no respect for leasehold properties at all. But in the Southeast Asia region or the Asia region, 50 years lease, 70 years lease is a very common thing. But for us, 99 years lease, and we are complaining about it. Number 3, the stable weather and disaster-free country of Malaysia. It's one of the main reasons why foreign investors like Malaysia real estate, because what can actually damage real estate, right? I mean, in terms of capital appreciation, would be 2 things. Number 1, natural disaster. Number 2 would be war. Okay, so politically we are not so bad. Like, we don't have like dictatorship or war. It's still a very democratic country, so I love Malaysia. Number two, like natural disasters, the worst that we can have is actually flood or haze or drought. That's it, right? But then your property or real estate will still be there, and that's the biggest thing that can affect properties. And in Malaysia, we are free from almost any natural disaster. Number four, Malaysia's cities infrastructure is actually very established. Although people always say that Malaysian has a first-class infrastructure, third-class maintenance or mentality, it's kind of true, but that if you compare city to city, our highway system, our MRT system, our drainage system, our sewerage system, all are very sophisticated. Even Malaysians' fire safety regulation is one of the most strict among the region, right? So these will actually produce out better township planning, and this better township planning will actually improve the price of real estate. On the topic of infrastructures, just a very cool fact that top 10 biggest mall in the world, in Malaysia there's 3, which is One Utama, Sunway Pyramid and Mid Valley Mega Mall. So in Malaysia, malls are everywhere, and malls are the main attraction for population in Malaysia. And you can see that in other countries, more, of course, besides Singapore, Malaysia's shopping culture is very attractive. All of these are because of infrastructure. International schools is also part of it. Like, we encourage a lot of education system in Malaysia, and there's a lot of twinning programs to UK, US, and etc. The main reason a lot of international schools, right, are very welcome in townships because they are the main attraction for people to live around it. So a great example would be 10B International Schools in Sedia Alam, and then Kota Damansara, where you have the St. Joseph, the British International. Then you have 2 international schools in Mont Kiara. So that's where all the expats actually live in. And a lot of Korean, Japanese and Chinese from China, they also send their kids over here because our English proficiency is rather atas. Last but not least would be the culture in Malaysia. So Malaysia, we are very comfortable with the multi-racial and multinational, and we are very adaptive to differences. So our food includes that element, that the range of food is very diverse, right? And that's why a lot of international people who comes to Malaysia, they can always find back their own home food. So if you're Iran, you can go Iranian food, Arabian food, Korean food, Japanese food, fusion. If that's not good enough, then you go back to the mamas. You can go very super high end for all those Michelin, things like that. All there. And the language that we speak is usually English. If you go to Pasar Malam or you can go to any shopping center, right, you can speak English almost immediately. So although you cannot, some of us cannot reply straight away in a very fluent manner, but the message can be transferred over. So that's one of the main benefits of why investors are very comfortable investing in Malaysia. From a foreign investor point of view, these are the main attraction why Malaysia is a very ideal place to invest. But yet, this video is designed and made to actually encourage Malaysian youth to actually appreciate for being in Malaysia. So it's very rare that we can loan up to 90%, 95% for our property. It's very rare that we don't have inheritance tax. Like in Japan, if a father passes a property down to the children or anyone else, then they need to be taxed up to 50, sometimes 55%. And our RPGT gain tax, if you made money, you pay from the earnings. If you don't need to pay. But in other countries, it's actually taxed on the overall property, and there's betterment tax as well. So if the government built infrastructures that improves your house value, I can actually tax you for the increase in value. Then the availability of leasehold land, we can actually own a piece of land of our beloved country. That fact is also very, very attractive. Not many countries actually offers freehold land, and I really hope that all these points, right, should be understood and digested, so we actually appreciate our country's system way more. So I think that's all for this episode. Bersempena Hari Merdeka Malaysia. Me as a Malaysian, I'm very, very proud to be voicing out during the election day, and today we are enjoying the result of it, and I hope that the government will continue to strive, and I'm very confident they will. Therefore, I'm very confident in Malaysia's real estate as well. Until next time, youths, appreciate Malaysia. I'll see you guys soon.